Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Supergirl and a potential major cameo that could be happening in the film and in the DCU. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. So we're going to be talking about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, but also we're going to be talking about the Superman test screenings that have reportedly happened. Now these are just rumors, so obviously take it with a grain of salt when we get to that. But first things first, let's talk about Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, because it seems, according to some sources online, that potentially there could be a major cameo happening in the Supergirl film. So first things first, let's set the stage. So right now in the UK, where I'm from, so very much so looking forward to this. If they do any shoots outside in London or anywhere, I will be for sure going there, checking the set out and everything, and obviously I'll make a video and report back to you guys. But shooting is beginning on Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow next week. Now this article was written on the 8th and it will be linked in the description below so you can go check it out. And so it's been shot in the UK and it's being shot in LIVESTREAMS Studios, so I don't think you're going to get many set photos at the start if they're strictly in studio, but if they do start to venture out into the streets, of course we're going to get our first look at Supergirl, and potentially they might even release like a poster or like a teaser photo like they did with Superman when they knew that all the cameras were going to be on David Corenswet. So the news that we need to talk about here is, according to some sources including Corenswet Media on Twitter, the actor David Corenswet has been spotted in London just days before cameras begin rolling on the Girl of Steel's DCU movie. While nothing is confirmed at this stage, it makes sense for Superman to show up, especially with Krypto set to join Kara on her cosmic adventure. Now let's just start with Krypto first off, because I'm not sure if Krypto is going to be in this film, and that's because they've made some changes to the Supergirl film, including Lobo being included, but I know that was originally the plan, but they didn't go through with it in the comics. But that is still a big change, and so Krypto is in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in the comics. However, there is definitely the possibility she's not going to be accompanied by Krypto in this film, if Krypto is specifically Superman's dog, and it wouldn't make sense as to why Supergirl would have the dog unless potentially Superman gave it to her, and maybe this is set in a different time period. I don't know, maybe it's not at the exact same time as the Superman film. So let's talk about David Corenswet potentially being a cameo in this Supergirl film. So I have to say straight up, take it with a grain of salt, all these reports, because we don't know if this is exactly true. This is not coming from any really reliable source. It's coming from a David Corenswet fan site, so it could be wrong, but it's looking very likely, at least, that maybe he will feature in the film for at least a cameo. And I believe this actually was going to happen anyway, and I think they're probably just going to get out of the way. I think Supergirl is also going to have a cameo in Superman, and they just shot that really quick. Like, you never actually saw Millie Alcock around the set or anything, and that's because they did it so quick. And so I think the same thing's going to happen here with David. Potentially he could be in London right now, and he will go to LIVESTREAMS Studios, he'll shoot something in the studio, and then he will fly back to America or wherever he lives. And so, yeah, nothing is confirmed. However, this would be pretty exciting. Now, I know you guys would be hyped to see Superman in the Supergirl film, just like I'm excited to see Supergirl in the Superman film, because I feel like Superman is going to be just such an important character in the DCU, and with Supergirl being the second film, it would make sense to kind of continue that story thread of what Superman has been doing, and we catch up with him briefly here. But I will say it's very important that Superman isn't too much of a presence in this film, because the whole point of the comic is literally about Supergirl trying to be different from Superman and trying to step out of her cousin's shadow. And so if Superman is in it too much, I think that would be a big mistake, and I don't think they're going to go in that direction. But I just wanted to tell you guys that in case you haven't read the comic, because that is a huge part of the comic. So we'll have to wait and see if we get a first look at Supergirl in the coming weeks. If they do go outside, expect photos, expect them to preempt that with a official release. So let's all be on the lookout for that. Also, I just want to bring up one other point, and that is where would Superman appear in this story? Because if you've read the comic, you know that the story starts with Supergirl in space. She's drinking because it's her 21st birthday and she wants to get away from everything, and that's where she runs into Ruthie, an alien girl who wants her to go after Krem and kill him as revenge for killing her father. And to do this, Supergirl has to go all around the galaxy, hopping from planet to planet, searching for Krem. So, I think Superman could potentially either be at the start of the film, maybe while Supergirl is at that bar, he could potentially be there at the start, or maybe he drops her off there, or he could, and I think this would be a better option, be on one of the planets towards the end of the film, maybe to back Supergirl up at one point. However, as I said, I think she's going to be fairly independent for most of the film, so we'll see, but it's probably just going to be a small cameo nevertheless. Now, let's talk about our second main topic, and this is to do with the rumored Superman test screenings of James Gunn's film. Now, this is coming from Jeff Snyder, who actually mentioned this on John Roca's Hot Mic podcast on YouTube. Link will be in the description below. Obviously, you have to take this with a grain of salt. This is rumors. This is according to one of Jeff's sources, and he hasn't stated who that specifically is, obviously, and there's always the chance that the source isn't completely right, but this is what Jeff Snyder had to say. I went to a dinner with a source who knew multiple people who had seen Superman. The buzz is not good. It's not me trying to take the movie down. Maybe I misphrased the VFX things, not sure what he's saying that in regards to, but I'm hearing bad things. Now, there is a lot of time between now and July the 11th, so a lot of things could happen, and it sounds like James Gunn is aware of some of the feedback. So that is what Jeff Snyder had to say about these potential rumored Superman test screenings. Now, I've heard from other sources online, or I've seen, that apparently there was no test screenings. So there is definitely a contradiction here. Now, do I believe there was a test screening already? Yeah, I could believe it. It's January the 10th right now, and it's coming in July, potentially. Also, you have to remember, test screenings isn't the end of the world. Like, they will show them rough cuts, and they'll get tips and pieces of feedback that they take on or they ignore. So it's really not the end of the world, but if this is true, and if the buzz is not good as Jeff says, I really wonder what could be so bad in that case. Like, is it the cinematography? Is it James's style that people aren't getting used to with Superman, and you know what we're traditionally used to with a Superman project? Could that be a problem? I think that's the only problem I can see off the top of my head. Or is it there's too many characters in the film? We know there's a lot of characters, like all the Daily Planet characters, all the superheroes, obviously Superman, Lois, Jimmy, all the core Superman characters as well. Is it too overcrowded? Is it focusing too much on world building and the DCU? Well, I remember James saying it's not really focused on all of that, it's mainly about their story, but we'll have to wait and see on that. However, if we are to believe what Jeff is saying, that his source is saying that multiple people who have seen Superman don't believe it's good, and obviously James Gunn would be aware of the feedback if they did actually hold this screening, and it's very true that, you know, in between now and July the 11th, there is a long time. They can change a lot. They could even do reshoots if they need to. I think they're going to do reshoots, but it's kind of pushing it, I guess, with it being January now, because they started filming like just under a year ago. But with all Hollywood films, there's tons of tweaks and everything that happen, even last minute. So I don't think it's a big problem if this test screening is true, and if there is some negative feedback. I think they just learn from that and they make the changes. They can do some reshoots, they can edit it differently, they can make a few changes. Obviously, something they can't change is how they shot the whole film, if that is one of the people's problems. But again, they haven't specifically said what is the bad things that is to do with a Superman movie right now. So what do you guys make of that? Like, I'm sorry if I'm rambling a little bit, because I don't know exactly what could be so bad. Like, that's what I'm trying to think about, because it just looks really good from the trailer. I'm looking forward to it. I think everyone else is looking forward to it. We're building the DCU. It's the first film, and obviously it's such an iconic character, and Superman hasn't had a solo film in a while. Yes, of course, we had Superman and Lois on TV most recently, but in the films, it's been a while. It's been since Man of Steel since we had a Superman solo movie. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.